the past and from studying history, but like we let it go, and by letting it go, we reclaim our power as being a creator in this reality to then create the new world. I
Right.
mean, because if you were to study, like, if we were to take the system as an example to create the new system that we're creating, we would just be completely influenced by that system. And what we're
Right.
being called to do
Right.
is basically just completely, in many ways, get rid of it and implement a new system. And I think you're doing
Right.
that very well when it comes to like the calendar. Like this has demanded that you essentially let go completely of any subservience to that older calendar, because
Right.
it's just not it. You had to figure it out yourself. You have to figure out how this works and how it functions and the date and the time and this and that. um so I think it's very interesting in terms of just like we are becoming very powerful. We all are very powerful individually, but obviously as we like
Right.
lean into doing the work, we're becoming very powerful, and we have let go of a lot of these mechanisms that have kept us chained to the system. And
Right.
as we keep becoming more powerful, like the chains become clear in terms of the big ones, like the ones that we really haven't let go of, or that we're still working towards letting go of. And eventually, when the chain, like what we realize, I believe, at the end, when we fully get rid of the chains, or at least are able to fully claim our sovereignty, is that we run the show. We're the
Right.
ones. It's us. It's us. And
Right.
and for me,
Right.
like everything that I have done in this reality, I have had to live under this insane state of delusion that like I'm the one. And not in terms of like the one, but it's the one that has the ability to change reality. Whether that's true or not, that's irrelevant. I don't really care. That is
Right.
my belief, and if that is my belief, I make it a reality. And as things are shifting now, like I truly am seeing that it's all about me. If I keep doing the work, if I keep elevating my energetic state and serving the Lord in the best way that I can, everything else starts to work out. This whole thing with the
Right.
gods. I was very interested in talking to the gods and the entities. Probably the last 6 months ago. That's when I began to realize, oh shit, you could actually do rituals and ceremonies to talk with the gods.
Yeah.
But there was nobody in my reality that was really showing the way or how it worked, what it would work. I just kept doing, as you said, living in the present moment, right?
Right.
Redeeming time, continuing to live in the present moment. And then here we go. Now we're in the thick of it. Now we are being
Yeah.
called by the gods to talk with them, to work with them,
Right.
to communicate with them. So as long as we keep doing our own individual energetic work, and obviously keep doing what we're called to do with the curiosity and the greatest calling that we're receiving, like everything else is literally just a distraction. It's just like it's all
Yeah.
just a
Yeah.
distraction. And this
Yeah.
year, the snake year, we're in our bag 100%. Like we are
Yeah.
in that position preparing for the strike, so that when the creator tells us now's the time to strike, boom,
We're
venom,
ready.
fangs out, constrict the prey, and then swallow it whole. So all these
Yeah.
people out there just freaking out. All these people out there, boom, 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 just energy out, energy. All of it, they're expending all this energy they don't got,
Right.
while we are basically, in many ways, like strategically retreating. And by strategically retreating, we are implementing the calendar. We're understanding the proper time. We're
Right.
building the physical foundation for this manifestation of the new world order.
Right.
And then when the time ticks, that's when we strike. And it's going to be shown. It's going to present in
Right.
different
It's gonna
ways.
be
Who knows what it
obvious.
is? But yes,
Yeah, it's
right.
gonna be obvious. Yeah, for sure. It's gonna be obvious. And something that goes along with that is about them trying to the whole concept of a strategic retreat, and this whole energy of trying to kind of force a reaction. So over the weekend, it's, let's see, on Sunday night, Sunday, I went to sleep at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I didn't wake up until like 11 o'clock at night. And then I was up from like 11 o'clock p.m. on Sunday until like 10 o'clock last night, which I would consider a manic episode, because anybody who has those kind of like episodes, you're just up, you can't go to sleep, you're trying to go to sleep and it's not working, and you're just like just doing a bunch of stuff, and you're like, okay, what is going on? And so I'm having like this whole like manic episode, and my other friend, she went to sleep for like 24 straight hours. And it's like, okay, wait a second, like one of these things is not normal by itself, but the fact that she and I had the same experience at the same time was like, okay, so this has a larger like meaning. Like what can we take from this? And so I had made my vow to Poseidon to ask for safe passage and safe harbor, like we're talking about the last time. And so it just occurred to me that if during that like time period, I still worked. I was, just doing my regular life like it was normal to only have like 2 hours of sleep, which is not normal at all. And it's not like safe to be out running around doing anything like with that little amount of sleep. And so I was like, oh my gosh, this could have been a real disaster of a day. That's how I know Poseidon gave me safe passage or safe harbor, because the last time I had an episode like that, I ended up in the hospital because when I fell asleep, I crashed, and nobody, it was kind of out of nowhere. It was so unexpected that I literally crashed, and they thought I had like passed out or died because I was in a car, and like not driving, but I was in a passenger seat, and I literally like I fell asleep, and I could not be woken, I could not be moved. These people was panicking. And so I'm like, wow, the last time this happened, it was an absolute disaster, and this time I just kind of like worked it off. It didn't feel like a whole thing like it would have been in the past. And so I definitely like can see that um my power is increasing. And the whole concept of saying I'm the one, I usually say it as a pejorative. I say, I guess I'm the only one who does this, but I should probably start saying it like, no, I am the one. Like, there is no one else, because it doesn't appear to be anyone else, and it's not in a snarky way, but it just doesn't appear to be anyone else. And so maybe I need to also like recalibrate the way that I discuss this, because especially like going from nobody even knows what I'm talking about to like seeing that, like to being able to describe the structure of reality with precise precision in a way that no one is like capable of doing unless they're channeling like 1,000 entities and they're full of like whatever they got going on. Like this is like unheard of. Like nobody has people don't operate like this. And so I think that's another like takeaway for this snake year. Like what you say will manifest. Like, so you better speak to yourself highly, and you have to make sure that you are the one in whatever area it is that you are gifted in. Yes, you are the one that's going to do it. Like there is no one else to do it. You are one of one. And I say that to people, but to say it to myself in a way that's not sarcastic is quite new to me, because I'm always so sarcastic about this stuff, because it always seemed like there's someone who's supposed to be doing something, but I can't seem to find them. And it's like, no, but it's actually you who are supposed to be doing it. And that's another reason why I'm so annoyed about not being prepared for the Day of Atonement and then the Feast of Booths, because it's like, okay, if I'm the one, like if this is the way it's set up, this is what y'all want me to do. As soon as I found out that our holy site was in Portland, Oregon, I should have been booking my flight. I should have been booking my hotel, because I need to go and I know what days I need to go. That stuff should have been boom, 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 boom. We're going. We got a suite. We got this. We got that. Who needs tickets, who's can come, who can, take off work or whatever. That should have been happening immediately. And yet I'm here like having this conversation with you and it hasn't happened. It's really frustrating because it must happen. There's no getting around it. Like we have to do this. And so it's like, okay, now I have to put all of these things, this advice that I give to other people about how to manifest things into their life and really, put belt to ass on like doing it in my own life. And it's a very interesting experience to say the least.
Yeah, it's funny, I tweeted that bell to ass, a few hours ago.
It's true, but
Uh,
it's true. That's funny. Oh my God. See, the synchronicities is off the chart. It's
so,
true though.
and I think, when we have been negated and attacked so savagely as we have been attacked all our lives simply for like following our curiosity, it's
Right.
very easy to basically like have questions about our value. Because if
Right.
other people have not seen it or at least act or play about it as if we're like nothing, well,
Right.
even though we might have all the confidence in the world, like it's like, yo, what's going on here? Like, why am
Right.
I not receiving my flowers? Why am I like why do people like refuse to at least acknowledge my existence? And
Right.
that can impact in terms of the whole idea of being the chosen one, being the one. And I think this year in particular, obviously, kind of as you mentioned, like this is where that is fully solidified in terms of really stepping into one's power and having zero hesitations, zero doubt. And as you said, the tonality, the way that you say it means everything. It's probably even
Right.
more important than the actual words themselves because it's the energy that you're directing. Sure, the words represent a meaning, but what is the energy behind that? Is it hesitation? Is it certainty? Is it confidence? Whatever it might be, and that's how we're able to really project, I think, our divine powers into this reality. And I think with this trip about going to Washington, like it could just be that this year is not the year. It could be that next year is the year that you do the trip there because the next year is the horse year, and with a snake, you are, and not you in terms of, but like the snake animal itself. I believe what's happening is we are retreating because okay, so we have laid siege on the quote unquote enemy. We have laid siege on the misaligned system, and they have collapsed. There's chaos. We have put them in a corner. They are in a corner right now. And something that Robert Greene always says is when you fight someone that has nothing to lose because they're backed to a corner, they will fight ruthlessly. So
Right.
we have them backed into a corner. Now, do we keep fighting them? Do we keep going after them? Or do we strategically retreat and have them start coming at us? And by them
Mm.
coming at us is more like them trying to psyop us, them trying to manipulate us, them trying to, do whatever the fuck it is that they're gonna try to do. Because obviously, we didn't go for the kill. Instead, we were attacking them, saw they were backed into a corner, laid siege on their towns and their cities, and then out of nowhere, they didn't even think it was gonna be possible. We retreat. We like disappear. We move back. And then we observe them, and then that's when they're gonna come back and say, "We gotta this is the last push, we gotta take them out." And so they're gonna, try this snake here, as we saw with the beginning of this year, like,
Right.
this whole psyop with this blonde girl, like, they're coming back and they're ready to blow their fucking load right off the rip because something about us, and I think the calendar thing, like for me, I've taken a step back energetically, where it's like, okay, now I gotta figure out this calendar. I gotta figure out
Right.
my days. I gotta figure out my time. Like, I can't keep conquering more territory if I don't have like the basic fundamental set. If it wasn't for
Right.
you, I would have, I mean, I think strategically still would have retreated, but like I'm ready to keep conquering, but how am I going to conquer new lands if I don't even know what land my old lands are gonna still be following the misaligned calendar. You know,
Right.
it's like I have taken out the enemy, but I still have allowed the enemy to dictate my time. You can't
Right.
dictate my time. That's not how this is supposed to work. The whole system is supposed to be reset, and it's reset through the time, the calendar, through Chronos. So
Right.
this is the strategic retreat where we're retreating saying, holy shit, we really powerful, like holy, like we really the ones, right? We really the ones. We
Right.
have seen that we're the ones. Now let's retreat like a snake, you know, hide where it's most strategic, waiting to strike, and let's like not rebuild, but like let's regenerate. Let's like shed the skin. So all the
Right.
stuff that we have endured throughout this lifetime and previous lifetimes, this is the year where we're retreating, reassessing, you know, and applying the calendar, letting go of things that are holding us back, connections, relationships, ways of thinking, ways of seeing, whatever it might be. All of that stuff we are learning to let go of that skin
Right.
as the enemy is just freaking out. The enemy is just trying to fight
Right.
this, fight that. Like they're go all over the place. You saw the protests in Nepal. The people are
Right.
just
Yeah.
freaking out. They're just trying to take anybody and
They
burn the
stripped
houses
that guy
down and
naked. They stripped that guy
yeah.
naked and ran him into the river. Oh my
Uh-huh.
gosh.
They're just going wild. They're just going
Yeah.
wild. While because there is disorder, chaos is consuming the land. We are not supposed to be getting involved in that mess. We're supposed to go back to our castle and figure out the as the snake is like what is intelligently supposed to be done. Then when the enemy is, you know, basically like at its down bad next year, sometime next year, that's when we strike. And when we strike, it's going to
Well,
be total.
what you're saying makes sense because this is what they did in the Trojan War. They retreated. It looked like the Greeks had retreated, and then they what came back in a horse year. Ding 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 ding. Like,
Wow.
oh, okay, now
Wow.
you can see the whole play now. It's like,
Oh
okay, what you're
shit.
saying is correct. We
Yeah,
do need to
right.
retreat and shed our skin, just like you said, the old version of ourself that is tied to that way when we come back in the horse year, we will be
Hmm.
the Trojan. They will think,
Wow.
okay, well they're the same person still running on this same old system. And it's like, no, we bust out with, horse year and be like, hey, now, oh, we're celebrating all our feast days. We've
Uh-huh,
already
right.
made
We're gonna
all
be
of
in
our
Washington.
plans.
We're gonna be in
Right,
Washington.
exactly. This is what we're gonna do.
Because
We're gonna take this thing over.
imagine if you
Yeah.
showed up this month. They're gonna be like, "What the fuck?" You know, it's like you're
Right.
giving the enemy the serious because you going there is serious. That's like
Yeah. I've never
you
been
know
that far west.
that's serious business right there. And energetically, at least everything as you could see in your physical reality, like energy saying no, we're not gonna let you.
Right.
So they didn't give you enough time because you know if you had gone a few months, I'm sure you know everything would have been set up. And it's like everything is
Right.
like no, 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 no. Okay, well, why no? Well, now when it comes to the retreat, it's like, well, everything is because the horse just again runs like crazy. That's what we're going to be doing
Right.
horse year. We're preparing to go full on frontal
Right.
attack against everything that is misaligned. But for that to happen, we got to get everything in order.
Right.
We gotta
Everything's
get all
not in
the, you know,
order.
no, everything is still kind of up in the air, but not really up in the air, but you know, there's still so much more work to
Right.
establish for us to then be ready um, to strike. And I think with the snake, like it's not just that we're preparing for one strike. It could be, you know, weekly we could be striking. So it's not like we're
Right.
just fully retreating, but I think the whole point is we are strategically overall. So going back to this blonde girl, us not reacting in the way that they tried to get us to react is us retreating. Black
Right.
people, they're retreating.
Been
They're
retreated.
like
Yeah.
I'm not. I
No.
don't feel. I don't feel it. I don't feel it. So
Yeah.
the people that are intuitive, and that's why the system tries to hate on black people so much, because they're so connected, as you said, to the land, but they're so intuitive. They're so
Yeah.
intuitive.
It's really
So
hard to get black people to reject their intuition. Like you have to work really, really hard to say. I mean, there's a lot they've done it. Like it's not impossible, but you have to work really hard to separate somebody from. That don't feel right. I don't think I'm going to do that. Oh, I don't think I should eat that. It's you have to work really, really hard. It's not a simple task of just like one, two things of propaganda. It's like you have to, like COVID, you have to just be running day and night propaganda to get people to just ignore their intuition about a situation and go along with what's socially acceptable. And maybe that's a part of this too, like really learning the structure of developing socially acceptable propaganda to be used to benefit the masses as opposed to how it's being used now, which is to hurt everybody. We have to be able to do what I mean. If we're the new world order, we have to be able to do what the old world order does, but we have to be able to do it for righteousness and not for wickedness. And that I think it takes looking at the system a little bit differently too. So then, as they're like revealing themselves, like so obvious of what they got going on, we have to observe how they've moved so many people. Like, how did they get all of these white conservatives to all tweet about this thing at one time? Well, they use the drip method, which is they dripped a little information about it, then they dripped a little bit more, then they dripped a little bit more. Everything you heard about the scenario was worse and worse and worse and worse until people were worked up into a frenzy. Now, how do you use that in the reverse? Like, how do you use that to get people to say, you know, um, I need to drink raw milk? Like, how do you do that in reverse? Like, how do you do that to get people to say, I need to stop shopping? And that's what I always say to people. They suffer from the fear of no, they're running from the spirit of prepackaged foods. Like, stop buying prepackaged foods, like meats. Like, just go to the butcher, like at the grocery store, and get them to cut you some fresh meat. Like, what's so hard about that? But people are just used to going to the store and buying prepackaged steak, prepackaged chicken, they don't even know that they could go to like a farmer and get a farm share, or get a whole half a cow, or go to Fresh Market or Whole Foods, and instead of getting a prepackaged thing, let them package your stuff. Like, they're running from the spirit of prepackaged meat. Like, just get rid of it. And it's like people just don't even have that on their mind. So this is like the kind of things we need to be breaking down, like how to reverse psychologize their propaganda so that it can be turned on them, especially once we get into the horse year. What's after the horse? I think it's the sheep, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's the horse year and then the sheep year. So once the horses come running into the building, all that's left are sheep.
and we're gonna be fully ready as the shepherds that we are to herd the sheep, to get the sheep to
Ooh,
follow
child,
the new system, the new world order.
this is this is intense. You talk about intense. This is intense.
Yeah, right. So, with what you were saying about, um, what was it? The snake doesn't blink. It's
Right,
always observing. It's always watching. So as you were saying, this year more than ever is we are not reacting, because again, react is to attack, is to go
right,
after the prey. The snake only reacts, the reptilian brain only reacts when it is most convenient for it. Its percentage of success is basically 100%. The
right.
rest of the time, it's just not blinking, observing. It's us absorbing. That's what we're doing. We're absorbing reality.
Mm.
We're absorbing reality, alchemizing that reality, and then directing the reality that is aligned to what I call high vibrational reality, to the new world order, to the reality that we're really building. So that's an important part in terms of the observing. Um,
Right.
and then there was another part that I was gonna mention, but um,
I think you're right about that too, because the whole thing about the snake not blinking is also like for like earlier I had made like a snarky comment because I'm always making snarky comments on people, and one of the guys was like, this was a black guy. He was like, you should just condemn the guy, and we shouldn't have anything to do with that, and you better be careful, boss, because somebody gonna get you for making comments like that. And I was like, I don't care. Like it's the social pressure to look away from the trauma is going to be very, very high. So that means we have to force ourselves to stay engaged with the system through observation. And of course be snarky as necessary, but and not to like allow the people who are like just going to walk away and say, this is too much. I can't take this. I'm just going to walk away. Whatever. That's not going to really be helpful. Like, no, we have to continue to watch the madness as it unfolds. And that's gonna, I don't know how easy of a task that's going to be. It's always really, really difficult to watch madness unfold, honestly, especially if you're an emotional person. um because some of the stuff is really sad if it's real, but then you're always like, but is this real? And then you have to deal with the emotional. I guess this is how you build resilience too, because if you see 1,000 people get murdered in front of you, you're probably not going to flinch at 1,001. You just be like, oh, another person. That's sad.
Yeah, and this the snake has an amazing circulatory system, so it's able to process and circulate energy, blood, uh, with extreme and very optimally. So what does that mean for us? For us, that means that we can process energy, we can process emotions, we can process feelings even easier this year than the
Mm,
previous year. So as you're saying,
wow.
like instead of and before we couldn't fully process it properly, we had to react. We see someone crying, boom, react. We
Right,
we see someone sad, boom, react. Now, in the snake year is we see someone crying, don't react.
right,
Observe.
right,
Observe. Now, obviously, if you're called to move in some way, you're going to move in some way, but it's like we're being called to, again, in everything that we do, strategically retreat. And when you
right,
strategically retreat, what you're seeing is, okay, if I'm uh, energetically, strategically retreating from like a specific friendship, I'm going to see how they're going to react. Are they
right,
going to hit me up? Are they going to not? Are they going to this? Are they going to that? So there's a lot of that shedding because that's what it means to shed. To shed means you got to go retreat in your little home wherever it is that you are as a snake and shed the skin to then now you can come out. And what's interesting about um what I feel specifically this new year that came about is I am now realizing that I always felt behind. And I had been doing everything that for me was I'm not behind.
right,
I'm actually doing things that are at the forefront of reality. Why do I feel behind? Now I don't feel behind. I feel I am in tune. And that is
mm,
based on the time. Like I thought we were, before we started talking about the zodiac, I was like, the snake year, has been happening February. And so, like, it's because I was talking to someone that is very familiar with the zodiac sign. So we did a spaces on snake year, early summer. So
wow,
all of this information that we're talking about now with the snake and all of like we had talked about that. I had talked about that with this guy then to prepare ourselves for this whole snake year, thinking that the snake year was obviously began in February. But
right,
but
right,
but that's where I felt behind because, like, it's like so the whole toe walking, the toe jogging, that's increasing circulation, which I began doing that, um, late summer last year. So like I was already
Mm,
preparing for the snake year, but
right,
like because it happened February, I unconsciously felt I was behind. But now knowing
right,
that the snake year literally just began, I am actually not only just like like not only am I in tune with the energy, I am like way ahead. So it's like
right,
I'm in the present moment, but like I've been all these years previously, I've been preparing for the snake year, and then the horse,
right,
and then the sheep, and then so that's what happens when we get in tune with the creator, is that yes, we are functioning in the present, but we're like fully aligned to what's gonna happen next and next and next and next.
right,
Um
right. That's
So
true. And
I
what's
feel in
interesting
tune.
about that,
I feel in tune now. And that gives me a sense of stability and calmness and clarity that the system did not want me to have.
right? I know you're right about that because the video I made on the one I sent to you about the um redeeming the time, I made that video 2 years ago, and I felt like everything that I've done, like basically up to this point, I feel like I've been behind, like trying to catch up, like running because I'm late. And now I'm like, wait a minute, I was actually 2 years early to this. Like 3 years early, four. Like some of the stuff I've been researching like for a long time, I'm way ahead. Like not even like just a little bit, like way ahead of people. Like when they start to actually wake up, they're gonna be like, they're not even going to be able to understand what I'm talking about because I did so much work like in preparation for this time. And now it's like, oh, it's not for this time, it's for the next time. Like it's like, oh, okay, so this is, I was 3 years early, because I was really getting ready for horse year. But in order for us to be ready for horse year, we had to have the Olympians. How are you going to have a horse, a Trojan horse, without the Olympians? Like you have to have that whole story really under your belt so that you know how to strategize in order to ensure that you win the battle. Like you have to wait until they're fully asleep into sheep mode. So this might not even be for next year. This might be for the third year because when they're in sheep sleep mode, then you pop out and say, "Okay, now we're here to take back what is rightfully ours in the first place." We have actually come into our own power because we've done this, like you said, strategic retreat in this year, and then we bust out like guns blazing next year. And then when we get to the sheep year, they don't have any energy left. All they can do is follow. This is I mean, I guess
Uh-huh.
this is why they
Yes,
say,
right,
yeah,
exactly.
I guess this is why they say the Chinese are always planning like 400 years ahead because when you know these cycles, you can use them. But again, they got their
Mhm.
time all wrong. So that's why all their plans are like it's funny because what was that? President Xi and Vladimir Putin were having a conversation that ended up in the public because it
Mm.
was streamed on TV about using the organs from other people in order to stay alive indefinitely. That is a very snake like, I get mummy or magic that has to deal with this year, but they were talking about it in when we were still in dragon year. So they're talking about a snake energy while we were still in dragon year, and it got made public. So it's like, oh, is this you guys plans? Like now it's public. Like you've been caught. Like you can't be just running these games anymore because now people are side eyeing you. And so this is how that's a strategic mistake. It's because they went around and started telling all the people, like they made Reuters take that video down. So now it's
Wow.
one of those. Yeah, they made Reuters take it down. So now it's one of those things that if you saw it, you saw it, and if you didn't, you didn't, and you're not going to be able to prove that it happened because it's of course they're scrubbing it off the internet. But it's like, no, I definitely heard them say like we could just get other people's organs and like live forever. But we got this guy here in Cheba who can show us how to do it without that kind of trauma to another human being. So it's very interesting, like those are the kind of like, this is how I know what you're saying is correct, because this is exactly what they're talking about amongst other political leaders.
Mm.
And that's what we're talking about, what they're talking about.
Yeah, and the your whole the question that you brought up about like the gods interfering with humans when it came to the Trojan War, like that's a very important question to really think about, because as you said, when the horse year comes around, like we are going to be fully aligned and working very closely with the Olympians, and it's like the war all over again in some ways. And so it's
Right,
understanding like what side are we on, what's like who, at least if we are going to interpret the Trojan War in terms of like the horse here, like what's the strategy that we're doing in the snake here? Like
right,
what is how does this relate to to this horse? How does it relate to the war? Because what I've always said that the primal diet, which is this way of eating, which is focused on eating the meat raw, drinking
right,
dairy raw, all of these different types of things that the diet is aligned to nourish the body to allow itself to heal. The body is able to heal
right,
itself if you feed it the proper foods. Obviously, the
right,
system wants to freeze our food and then cook our
right,
food and then reheat it. And then, by the time we feed it to our bodies, like there's very little nutrition that we're able to actually absorb. And as a result,
right,
that's why everyone's getting cancer. That's why everyone's getting all these
right.
ailments. So I always said, and the reason that I pushed raw milk so heavily back in 2019, 2020 was because I saw that raw milk was the Trojan horse for the primal diet. And so if raw
Oh,
milk became, which for me, it was going to be so obvious that it was going to become very popular, it was then going to lead people down a path to eat fully raw. And if you eat fully raw, or at least the diet becomes very popular, you now destroy the medical system, you destroy germ theory, you destroy basically the basis of medicine. What is
right.
medicine? Isn't that the snake? Isn't there a snake, a
Yeah,
serpent
the
in like the
caduceus.
little whatever it
Yeah,
is? So
yeah, the caduceus is two snakes like around a stick. Yep,
so
sure
so
is.
there's in raw milk being the Trojan horse to the primal diet, where it's like, hey, like we're introducing raw milk, and then but in reality we're just like, it's just like complete chaos inside the walls of the city. That's what's been happening now. You see all these people that are
Right,
drinking and promoting raw milk, they're going into their awakening. They're going
right,
into the fringes of, I don't trust the system anymore. I don't trust the medical
right,
system. I don't trust the doctors. I'm not doing any of that. So where are they going to go? Well, if I'm drinking raw milk and I see all these other guys eating raw meat and promoting raw meat, and they got muscles and they look like this and they're doing that, then the incentives are, well, let me try the raw meat, or let me
right,
try the raw butter, or whatever it is. So that is an aspect, obviously, of this Trojan horse, where
right,
what we have done and what we are doing is we have, um, through supporting these types of narratives, and another big one is unconditional love. We are
right,
Trojan horse, putting the Trojan horse in the system. People are beginning to embrace it, praise it, worship it, sing along around the Trojan horse. And then the Trojan horse really is actually just completely about to dismantle um, the whole city. But then the next thing is, okay, well then what's next after that? Like who won that? How are the gods involved? Like what is our role after we have just basically ransacked the city?
And the other part of that is, how do we give it a happy ending? Because, like I said, at the once they basically, okay, so in that story with the Trojan horse, when the Greeks jumped out of the horse, they killed everybody. So obviously, we don't want to kill everybody. Like, that's kind of like not the direction we're trying to go. So how do we execute, like, that story has to pick up somewhere else. So that's some research I have to do, because I don't,
Well, I
we have
mean,
to
what
pick
is
up the
killing?
story.
death and rebirth. You know, it's shedding of the old skin. Like the person has to
hmm,
die, basically. You know, in order for them to adopt the new system, the old them has to die.
right,
So if anytime they would get sick, they would go to the doctor. That whole thing of that has to die. Like
right.
so
No, I agree with
so I think
you.
the killing is like metaphorically, I see the killing as like we're not actually like killing them, but we are just transforming them to a degree where like the old them doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
So
Make
if
okay, making the planet, making the vibration so high that it's in not inhabitable for
yes,
anyone carrying the lower frequency.
right. And as a
So
result,
that
they all
they
die.
just can't. Yeah, they just can't make it into the higher frequency. Because in the next part of that is when the people went to leave, they couldn't get home. So a
Mm.
lot of people,
Oh
but we're
wow.
clearing that up. Yeah, we're clearing that up now because they couldn't get home because they didn't, because okay, all right, this is what they did. I forgot this part. When they went into, now all the gods knew they were doing this, right? So they went into Troy, they killed everybody. That was cool. What they did that caused them not to be able to get home was they desecrated the temple. So in the process of doing
Mm.
this, we can't desecrate the temple of the gods. And that's why it's like, oh, we need to know who they are in advance. Because me, what have I been saying? I was ready to burn everything down. I don't want nothing to do with none of these guys. Like, take them out. You know what I mean? And so we have to make sure, or me, I have to make sure I don't threaten them on my way out. Like, that will cause us not to be able to successfully complete the mission, because the only one who basically
Mm.
made it home safely was Odysseus. But even that was like pretty difficult. That'll go into the Odyssey. That was a pretty difficult trip for him to get home.
Um and then who stayed in Troy?
They killed everybody.
They as in the god, oh, the
The
Greeks.
Greeks. Yeah, the Greeks. They killed everybody.
Oh, okay, okay,
Everybody.
okay.
Man, woman, like every single
And so
the
they
what
killed everyone, but they couldn't go back. That's crazy. Yeah, I wonder
Yeah,
what that means.
because they desecrated the temples.
Mm,
We
okay, yeah,
can't
right.
desecrate the when we raise the
Mm.
vibrate. So what you're saying is right. Like you're correct. When we raise the vibration for all of humanity, we also have to raise the vibration for the gods. We can't leave them behind, which is why it's like, okay, why you keep talking about
Oh, yeah,
rehabilitation?
right.
We can't leave them behind. We have to raise the vibration for them as well. Good God, man, we're humans must be powerful because this is a lot of work. Oh
Well,
my
and
goodness.
it's I don't know, there was a show that was watching. I need to figure out which one it was, but I don't know where it was, but the show basically was saying I don't even know where the fuck this came from, but it was basically um technology had increased amongst humanity where the Greek gods were like, it's over for us. They don't believe in us anymore. They're not worshiping us anymore. They're not
Mm.
serving us anymore. Like they're not honoring us anymore.
Wow.
We are being like we're going to technology is about to eclipse us and we're gonna just be lost into irrelevancy. And I think that's
Uh,
what they are really worried about is that like the
oh.
technology is getting to a point where people really don't care about the gods.
Right.
And so as you're saying with we're going into Troy, now obviously if we didn't do this Trojan horse strategy, we can't penetrate their fucking walls. Their wall, like
Right.
you know, Troy is
Right.
impenetrable.
Right. It
And so
was.
we've been out,
Mm-hmm.
we've been on the beach preparing, you know, doing all the work we've been doing, figuring out how the fuck are we going to destroy this system? How the fuck are we going to pass through those walls? And
Right.
the narratives that I have been investing in, obviously the narratives that you have, the narratives that we have been investing in, and the implementations, because I see the calendar as basically like the strategy of attack, like the way that we're going to when we're in the city continue
Right.
infecting with our energy essentially every
Right.
part of reality. So
Right.
um
It's the sword.
yes, right. So with the Trojan horse, so we get into the system basically, and it's already happening now. It's just collapsed. It's collapsing.
Right.
It's being destroyed. Everybody is being killed. Like
Right.
as you see with people, people are they don't know what's going on, and they
No.
are gonna keep ramming their head on the wall until they literally die. And by dying, I mean they're so down bad that they start to take things that are so out there seriously, aka what
Right.
we have been doing,
Right.
and then then we have the power. We have
Right.
we have total control over Troy. We have won the war,
Right.
and now that's when, as you said, we through the whole process by working with the Olympians,
Right.
we exalt them. We
Right.
make sure that they are put in the places of reverence that they
Right.
deserve because they are the ones that helped us to win this war. It's because
Exactly.
of them. It's not just because of the things that we've done. It is by working with them. And as a
Right.
result, we do they deserve to be honored in the new world order.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I just thought about something too. As the dragon year ended, the sky dragon gate between heaven and earth. So the snake is the first physical incarnation into the earth. It's the first animal that is like an earth-based animal. And so that would make sense that this calendar is coming out as the first step of this, obviously a 6-step system, because we have 6 more years in this cycle. um yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We're going to work with them. We're not going to keep threatening them like I do. And we're going to put them in their proper place and make sure everybody is doing what they're supposed to do so that this planet can function the way it's supposed to function. We did have thousands of years of peace. Like, they always want to talk about how it was nothing but chaos. No, we had thousands of years of peace, like 400,000 years of peace. Like, we can go back to that, and it does take this very um this very, very simple strategy of following the system. It's a system already there. All we have to do is keep tweaking it until we're following the system the proper way.
Wow. Yeah, as you were saying, like this is big. I mean, it's always
Yeah.
been big, but like it's like we really are out here basically gonna save the Olympians from like the outer darkness because what
Right.
is outer darkness is you become irrelevant. Just like
Yeah.
that's literally
Yeah.
the worst thing that can happen is to be a god and just be completely forgotten.
Yeah. Yeah, just become completely like no one even talks about you. No one cares about you. No one sacrifices to you. Because remember, like, the whole thing about the sacrifices is that they take like the candles that we burn for them and stuff like that, and they use that fat and actually um use it to light their temple, to literally light their temple. And so if people aren't making the sacrifices energetically, they're in darkness. So it's very interesting.
Mm.
I think you're much nicer, and so you balance out the really aggressive part of me that's just like f these people. But it's like, no, they're in darkness too. So if you're, how can you? We
Right,
have to give
right.
them the opportunity to come back into the light, and they have
Mm.
not had that opportunity because
Mhm.
they keep pushing them further and further and further into a time period. Like, that's why it's always so weird with these conservative influencers, because they're like, we want to go back in time. But it's like, but how far back? Like, just to like 100 years ago? Or why don't we go back 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years? Like, why stop at 100 years when we could go back 10,000 years? Like, it's so weird to like just, I guess maybe that has to do with my past lives, but it's so weird to only want to go back 100 years when you can go back 10,000. Like, let's take it way back to when this planet had peace. It's like they only want to take it back to where they ruled with chaos. Like, they ruled with unity. And I have a desire to go not back, but to bring forward a time when we have actual peace and we had unity amongst the humanity and the celestials and whoever else. We should have peace. Like long and the
Well,
short of it, we should have peace.
and as you said, Kronos was sent to the outer darkness.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
in the dark. He's been in the dark for who
Yeah.
knows how long. Who's going to bring the light to him? Who's going to honor him? Who's going
The
to,
light bearer,
show
that too.
show appreciation for him? Who better than the timekeeper?
Hmm.
Like,
Okay. My sarcasm is dripping, like, because like I just want to see some action. You know, if I listen, I'm a very fair
what,
person.
you're
I
not
just want to
happy
see
with the
some.
blonde girl? You're not happy with the blonde girl getting, ritually killed?
No, that's not. Again, did I
Was that
ask for
action?
that? I didn't ask for that. See, no, no, no. This is what I mean. Like, we are have to be specific in what we ask for them to do, because otherwise they'll do stuff like that and be like, "But this is what you wanted." No, I didn't ask for that. You have to do what I actually asked for. This is why I always write everything down, multiple places. I make videos, because when I ask for something, I don't want there to be no confusion about what I asked for. I don't care about those people over. I care about America. Like, I don't care about them people over there at all. You can't make me care about them. It's like that feels like the old system, like just trying to say, like, okay, so because another thing that happened was they did that raid on that Hyundai battery plant, and it was all illegals working there, 450. And they've been trying to get black people to like care about that, like, oh, everybody should have the opportunity to work and this and that. And black people are like, why didn't they get their papers? How long they been here? You mean to tell me in X amount of years they couldn't figure out how to get their papers? They just got to go and apply and wait like everybody else. So it's like, it's really like they're really the links that they're going to say, isn't this what you want? Isn't this the show that you want? And we're like, no, we don't want this. We didn't ask for this. They revised the job numbers down by almost 1 million jobs. That means no jobs have been created at all in the last 4 years. Zero. Like less than zero. Jobs have been nothing but lost in the last 4 years. Like, something has to be done about that. Like, that have to be like taken care of. You can't have people out here suffering like this. I mean, and that's what I mean. How long do people have to suffer? Like, I see light at the end of the tunnel because of this calendar and what we're working on. But what about the people who don't have that? Like, there's no light at the end of the tunnel. Like, they have no reason to live. And you see more and more people like that too, which is what, bothers me about how these conservative influencers are doing these people, because how many people are going to be like, I don't want to live in a world where where white women are getting murdered on the public transportation. Like, come on, man. Like, what if somebody takes their life because of this? You know what I mean? Like, this is the part that I don't like. Nobody should be taking their life because they don't have what they need to just be normal. Like, you can't, it's very difficult to gain a spiritual advancement when you're suffering. So the
Yes,
fact that
right.
they make these
Hmm.
people suffer and then somehow they're supposed to advance spiritually is unfair. And that's what I mean for myself. I'm still suffering. So how exactly is that fair? Like, I want to go on vacation. So how is this like this? It's little stuff that like that that's like, okay, I can understand the strategic retreat, because obviously things still have to change before things can work the way that they're supposed to. But in the meantime, everything, there's still stuff that has to be done. Like, I can't just like strategically retreat and live in poverty for a whole another year while I'm like, it doesn't make sense. Like, when you go, you have to build the horse is not going to build itself. So that means you need resources to build the horse. Like, you're not just going to like take a tree here and no, you I need to go back and read that story, because how did
Hmm.
they even build that
Right.
horse?
Yep.
Like, that's a whole nother set of questions. Like,
And
yeah, this
we
is
have I think retreat, I would say, has a negative connotation when it comes to warfare. But really what retreat means, a strategic retreat, is you got the upper
right.
hand. You got the upper hand,
Right.
you got the resources, you got like the enemy exactly where you want them. So now you're going to
Right.
position yourself in a place that is most convenient for you for what? To reload, to regroup, to
Right.
gain the resources, to acquire the capabilities, the skill sets, the knowledge, to be ready for the next attack, for the next move. So
Right.
as you're saying, is like the retreat is not that we're necessarily like stepping off the gas. We're actually increasing the gas, but we're now doing it not to attack the enemy or to go after, the gods, or it's like we're stopping the attack on the system. Not that the attack has stopped, because it's the
Right.
attack is still ongoing. That's why there's chaos, but it's like we're now allowing, okay, it's I see it as, instead of directing so much energy into the system, we're now allowing ourselves to absorb the energy of the system.
Right. Right.
And that in many
Right.
ways is like the retreat. Is like we're energetically allowing ourselves to be served, to receive, to
Right.
to absorb the energy, to embrace. Now that's obviously going to require us to change things around, because we've been in such
Right.
attack mode. We've been in such directing
Right.
mode. We've been in such like
Right.
giving mode. Now we are preparing, and we're I mean, I'm already seeing it, but like we are to receive. And by receiving,
Right.
that's where you get the wood. That's where you get the
Right.
resources. That's where we're going to
Right.
acquire all the things that are both energetically as well as physically necessary in order to build the horse, build the capabilities, build our fortresses and armament and whatever it is that is necessary, in order for this, because like the system is going to keep trying to come at us, but that's the
Right.
good thing now. Like it's when they come at us, we
It's
yeah, it's
obvious.
obvious, and allows us to absorb the energy of their attacks. And by
Right.
absorbing the energy of the attacks and being able to turn that from a low vibrational state to a high vibrational state, as I call alchemizing the energy, we become empowered. So they keep losing their troops,
Right.
they keep losing their energy, giving it to us. We're just staying back, receiving, embracing the energy, building our armaments, and they can keep doing that all day long. Like again, going back to this blonde girl, that was an attempt on us. That was an attack on us. But notice how like amateur-ish it is, where we're like, yo,
Right.
what like
Exactly.
I don't you want me to pay attention to this? This ain't nothing. This ain't nothing.
Right.
But we're still
Right.
absorbing the energy. We're still
Right.
allowing ourselves
Right.
to receive that energy, and we don't, it's like we're moving how we're being called to move, and that's requiring us to change in different ways. And for me, especially now with all of the connections that I have, like I'm at the point now where if the people that are connected to me are not honoring me, are not showing devotion, are not showing loyalty, are not coming with offerings, they don't exist in my reality anymore. They don't like
Right.
you either come correct or you don't at all. And in this snake year, that for me is my retreat. I have been retreating since early this year, where I basically pulled back all of my energy from all the people that I was giving all this energy to. I pulled back the energy, and snake year now coming along because I'm ahead, right? I'm ahead. I've
Right.
been pulling my energy
Right.
already for months.
Right.
Now snake year
Right.
comes in, I'm tightening that bitch up even more. I'm pulling
Right.
back the energy
Right.
even more. And now the boundaries are strong. And that's part of the walls that we have, our protection. My boundaries are stronger than they've ever been, because I've been building myself up
Right.
for the snake year. Now I know
Right.
I didn't have boundaries before. I didn't have boundaries. I didn't, I
Mm.
was so I was basically like a Jesus disciple, unconditional love. Now, I still practice unconditional love,
Right.
but I went the way where I allowed myself to be sacrificed endlessly. And then I ended up realizing, like,
Right.
shit, this is not the way. They're gonna just keep sacrificing me. I don't got time
Yep.
to be sacrificed. That's not what I
Right.
came here to do. I came here
Right.
to rule the world. I came here to change the world, to transform the world in his image, in God's image. So
Right.
this is that kind of retreat, is that the retreat is really saying, I'm the one, I'm absorbing your energy. I am the one. I am.
Right.
And in being the one, everybody has to come correct. And that also obviously means us coming correct for ourselves,
Right.
and really
Right.
like having very high standards by which people come to us. And many of the time, we don't have to say words, just our energy is going to say more than
Right.
enough.
Right. Right. It's like I told a story before about I've been saying for a long time, I was like, oh, Jesus, his plan is just kept getting messed up. And what I realized, I would say probably after our last talk, is that Jesus' plan was to win no matter what. And it worked. If they killed him, he still was able to go down and free the slaves and captives or whoever and change hell. But if he didn't die, he would have been the king of the Jews. So whichever way it happened, he was in a position to win. And
Mm,
that's what this feels like. Like it may look like a sacrifice again, like you said, like this whole retreating, like
right, right.
strategic retreat. It may look like a sacrifice, but it looked like Jesus was dead. But when they went on the third day, he was rose. So this is
Mm,
like this whole like people want to stop the story. Like I used to say this all the time. A lot of these Latin Christians and these Protestants, they worship a dead savior. I don't worship a dead savior. Jesus is not dead. He's alive. And so if you worship, again, counting the time, if you worship a dead savior, that's on you. But I worship a risen savior. And so it's just a little bit different. But that little bit of different makes a huge like big cosmic difference when you're trying to explain how to set up your thing so that you don't like lose the battle like that. Now that story makes a lot more sense now. This is what that was. This is going into that snake energy, going back into the cave and just waiting until
mm.
the perfect moment to emerge as the risen savior.
Oh, wow. Oh, shit.
I
Yeah,
know I just went in a
okay.
whole different direction, but
Yeah,
that
right. I
I
thought you were gonna
like
bring it back to Troy, but wow, now
I
yeah,
always
right,
try to bring it to the
exactly.
Bible because the Bible got the
Mm.
answers. Like if you read the Bible the right way, you get the
And
answers.
the sheep
Yeah,
year.
and the
I
sheep,
mean,
yeah,
this is
yeah.
this.
And
So
Jesus
we
said
still
he
got
came.
time.
Jesus said he
I
came
mean,
here for
3 years.
the
That's
lost
in three
sheep.
years. Isn't that
Yeah,
3 years?
two. Well, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 years. And Jesus said he came for the lost sheep of Israel. So that's like literally it
Wow.
all ties in together in a nice, neat little bow. So this is a crazy. We did a 3-year planning strategy in this almost 3-hour call. This
Yeah.
hey, this was a topic that had to be like really fleshed
Mm-hmm.
out because I
For
have to get
sure.
in the right vibration, and it's really, really difficult when you've been through so much. Like you have to
Of
have an
course. Yeah.
alternative perspective in order to try to figure out. So no more attacking the gods. We're going to give them a chance to do their thing, and we're going to focus
Give
our
them a
energy
breather.
on give them a breather because I'm always on their neck. We're going to give them a breather, and we're going to do a strategic retreat to
Hmm.
harvest. When you harvest,
Yeah. Yeah.
you have to go into your house, into the
Yeah.
threshing
Right.
floor. You
Yes.
have to
Uh-huh.
harvest your
Store your
stuff. So
food.
store your
Yes. Right.
food, prepare everything. So this is the strategic harvest.
Mm.
I like it. And I forgot to
Yes.
mention the lunar mansion for this year for the snake is ruled by Demeter. This year, the horse year and the sheep year are all ruled by not all of them. I'm sorry. Just this year is ruled by Demeter, and Demeter is the harvest, the grain, the the goddess of the
Oh,
harvest. The
wow.
goddess of the harvest. Let me say that right. So that's who the goddess is over this year. So I'm pretty sure we're just going to be working really, really closely with Demeter to get all of this
Yeah, we're
stuff
gonna be
prepared.
so fat. We're gonna be so fat from
Yeah,
the harvest. Like, we
yeah,
don't got time to go on the attack. As you
yeah.
said, where are we gonna get the wood? From the harvest.
Right.
The
There you
all the
go.
and as you said, like everything that we have done this last year, we're going to harvest that.
Right, right.
And as
So
well
we
as I
have to
think you've
slow
mentioned like
down and make sure
all
we
the
do.
yes, and all the rewards, I think you said that like were
Yeah,
supposed to be for us, that were deserved to us, like
yeah.
they're coming back. So there's a lot of resources that are coming our way. We
Right,
don't have the time. Not, I mean, it's not that we don't have the time, but it's more that like it doesn't make sense to keep going after the weakened enemy
Right.
when, like, let them rest. Let them try something while we
Right.
get even stronger.
Right.
Even stronger, because we're already
Right.
very strong, but even stronger to fully, when the time comes, the Trojan horse, like, they're gonna think that they're okay. They're gonna think that they're sitting pretty. They're gonna think that everything is, I mean, it's chaos, but that's what they like. They like that chaos. But,
Right.
like, they're moving with immense confidence now because energetically, just from our discussion now, we basically said, "Hey, we're gonna be hands off.
Right.
We're gonna be
Do
hands
you,
off. Like,
boo?
we're
That's what I say.
you
Do
yeah,
you, boo?
like, go wild, go crazy. We're gonna
Yep.
keep harvesting the energy. We're gonna keep harvesting all the resources that you're basically throwing at us because
Right.
everything that they're gonna do to try to regain control over the sheep, over the masses, is
Mm.
an attack on us, aka they're sending us the energy because we have already taken over.
Right.
We have already taken over,
Right.
and they're now trying to regain their control, regain their power. So every attempt to reestablish their power, we're getting it
Right. This is
as we
exactly what's
keep getting the
happening in
harvest.
Ukraine. This is literally what's happening in Ukraine. Like Zelensky is trying to take back like parts of Ukraine that Putin already took. You can't do that. Like once you give it away, it's gone. You're not going to get it back. Like that's how we have to move. Like okay, so we're off attack. I'm me. I'm off attack mode. I'm off attack mode. I can do that, and I just need to sit back and harvest.
Uh-huh.
What
Yep. And here
what?
comes the vacation.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, you're gonna see the vacation just show itself.
Yep. Here comes all the stuff. Like we have to be established. Okay. All right. Now that makes sense. You got like you said last time, you have to build the foundation. We don't have the foundation built, so we have to build the foundation.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah. And so the energy that I got as we were talking, it must have been maybe 20 minutes ago, was like, imagine a large table. Like, you're coming into my castle. Everybody's coming into my castle. At least the chosen ones are coming into my castle. And I have in my study, I have this massive long table with all these books and papers and stuff. And the
Right.
energy that I got was everyone's around this table. And then the energy that I got is I just put my arms down and just slide everything that's on the table off. Just literally just like throw it
Right.
onto the
Oh
ground,
God.
and then just like the blueprints. I put down the blueprints on the table and then we go to
Right.
work.
Right.
And that's what I feel this year is about. Is like, okay, all this research, all this work, all that's all great. We did it. We're doing it. Now let's put that down, not to stop it necessarily, but
Right.
like there's a new phase, and so we're putting all this down, all the things that we got now, the blueprint, and the chosen ones, because again, as I said before, we don't need a lot of people to, let's say, follow the calendar. It's
Right.
about us following the calendar, the groups of people that makes the most sense. If we follow the calendar, that's, I think, the blueprint is like, okay, let's get like the sketches of the foundation. Like, let's
Right.
let's figure out the plan now. Okay, so
Right.
the blueprint says follow the calendar. Like, that's the number one thing. Okay, boom, we start following the calendar. Then the next thing, we start honoring the gods. And then the next thing, we start, communicating, whatever it is. Like, by the end of Snake Year, we're going to be synced in a way that nobody else is synced in
Right.
before. And then the horse year comes in
Right. We
and we're just
boom.
off to the races.
Right.
And we've already been off to, we're already going like that's the thing. We're already going crazy like horses, but it's being harnessed like a snake.
Right.
We're doing this kind of that strategic retreat, but like that energy, you can feel it. Like, we are on fire.
Right.
We're
Yeah.
on fire, and instead of falling for the tricks of the system, saying, "Hey, look how fucked up the system is. Hey, come out and like attack me. Come out and try to take like the snake luring Adam and Eve with the apple. It's like, hey, come here. We're not taking the bait.
Right.
We're
Right.
we are focused on what needs to get done." And that's the thing with what I'm saying with these influencers. These influencers talking like they're the shepherds. Meanwhile, they're doing a fixating on this specific blonde girl issue.
Right.
Like, that's not what the shepherd is supposed to be doing right now. The shepherd is supposed to be doing
Right.
what we are doing.
Right. Trying to figure out how to bring peace
Uh-huh.
and feeding into the chaos. Like,
Right, and saying,
yeah,
"Oh,
that's how
we
you
gotta
can tell
stop
who's not in
immigration. We gotta
charge.
stop this." Like, let's let go of all that crap because
Right,
we gotta start from first principles.
right.
Like
Wow.
the blueprint, the foundation.
All right, so that's what we need to talk about next time. What is the blueprint? We
Mm,
we we talked about the different pieces of it, but now we need to put some brain power
right,
into
right.
what does this blueprint look like so we can do
Mm,
like a general like outline. Like it's not going to be perfect, but at least a general outline so that people can start thinking about this for themselves, because part of it is you have to be you have to know yourself. So that means you have to do whatever it takes to learn all the different pieces of yourself. That way the enemy can't attack you there. So you don't have those
yes,
pieces,
yes,
you don't
right.
have those
Uh-huh.
pieces handled,
Exactly.
you can be attacked way too easily.
Yes,
So
yes. Yep.
from there, like that's the foundation. So then from there, how do we go from here to inside the gates of Troy and then
Mm,
deploying our assets to turn the vibration up so that all of these assets become sheep that we can take into what's the year after that?
monkey.
Monkey. Yeah, that we can take into the monkey year,
Yeah,
which
I
is four
guess
years from
probably
now.
just, like we're gonna be swinging through the jungle like like we're just gonna be swinging. Like I mean, I need to think more
And
about
the
the
monkeys
monkey.
are friendly. My friend is a monkey, so
Mm,
they're friendly. They get along with people. They have like
wow.
they live in communities. They're very happy, and they just really like. And now there's a lot of
Mm,
mythology, but the monkey is a good sign. It's a very social sign. Let's put it that way. It's very
nice.
very
Okay, yeah.
social.
Good for
So
recovery.
um
Good
yeah,
for
good for
like
recovering.
yeah, because after we lead the sheep, like, we gotta have the monkey, all the fun, the monkey
Right,
business.
right. The fun, like exactly the fun, the fun. That's really where that should be a fun year. So we should like be able to walk this process from this physical thing of shedding the skin at least until that point. That's four. Four is a very it's like the number almost like the and this is a 4 day too. So that's like the number of like a mini number of completion. Like that's the first step where you really okay we accomplished something. Like it's in sets of four. So yeah,
Okay.
that's going to be really. I just never looked at it from this direction. So that would be Virgo, Leo, Cancer, and Gemini. So but we're going in reverse order. So this is really interesting. It's that's why we need to think. At least I need to think about what this is going to look like.
Yeah, and it's interesting that we kind
With
of
safe
like
passage, no, safe passage and safe harbor. No, I got to stop saying that. We have to get through this with safe passage and safe harbor. And what does that look like?
mm. And as you were saying with like we gotta be um positioned in a way where like we don't have holes. Like we don't have like
Right,
the ability for
right,
like the system to co-opt or any of that. And there was a
right,
person that I'm working with very closely that like um what I basically did was I strategically retreated in the connection. And
right,
then I saw that in the strategic retreat, this person energetically I felt started to doubt me, started to not be loyal. Like because if I am the emperor and I am doing everything in my power to bring about the Holy Imperium, the people that are surrounding me that are going to help me accomplish this, like they gotta be solid. They gotta be
right,
completely solid and devoted to the mission, devoted to
right,
what we are doing, and specifically have full faith in my ability to lead the way, to get it done. But if there is a strategic retreat that takes place where for some reason I leave the scenario and then the people that were supposed to be my allies, the people that were supposed to be completely loyal and devoted um, to the emperor, start to get doubtful, start to act like an enemy. That can't happen. And so in this
no,
situation, not consciously, but I strategically retreated. These experiences went off where, like, the love that that person had for me, the loyalty and devotion, began to turn into the complete opposite. Began to turn
Mm.
into an asset turned into a liability. And so,
Wow.
um, I let that play out, and then the person kind of came back and basically, in many ways, like, begged to have my energy, my attention, my presence back into their lives. And I came back because I felt called to come back, and I made it clear. I'm like, why we're doing all this work is because that type of doubt that you felt, that type of like moving from love to basically preparing to attack, building resentment, building hate,
Right.
building anger towards me is not acceptable. Because
Right.
when shit starts to get difficult, when we get tested the most, I can't have the people closest to me breaking down, basically just
Right.
running back to the other side. And obviously, like, the person, like, didn't mean to feel that way, but we had to go through that in order
Right.
for the person to be fully now way more solid than before. Now,
Right.
it's still going to these tests are going to continue. So I think in this retreat for us, it's really like we are assessing the loyalty and the devotion that the people around us have, as well as, like, having very strong boundaries that if that is not the case, we have to test the people. We have to
Right.
test these people in their ability to have faith. And if they
Right.
don't have faith, that's fine. Like, we can't have weakness with this
Right.
plan. Like,
Right.
the people in our sphere of influence, in our circle, has to be fully down pat. And I think that's the whole point of the snake here, is like, we are shedding the old skin because our
Right.
old skin is very unstable, very, like,
Right.
it
Right.
was very easy to be co-opted, even though we're obviously not falling for the obvious bullshit. But the underlying stuff, that
Right.
can be very easy to get distracted by, and
Right.
they're going to try to distract us. The system obviously is very good at trying to at distracting humans, but we're going to be so in our bag because we've strategically retreated, and now we're we're just you know finding the
Accumulated.
the
We're in
weaknesses and
accumulation.
accumulate. Yes, right. Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so I think this was a great, obviously, as always, great spaces. Next Friday, or this coming Friday, we'll do the blueprint. I think
Yeah.
you said, what is it? What is the blueprint?
Right.
I
What
think that's the
is
topic.
yeah, what is the blueprint? What are the next what are our next four steps? We're talking about 4 years, starting with
Mm,
this year. What are our next steps? Like, and then I'm also gonna look and see if I can find some stories in the Bible where they did these kind of invasions and it didn't end in disaster. Because we were looking at a scripture earlier, but I didn't really get into it. So now I'm gonna re-up that. So I'll probably do a thread or something on Friday about this.
awesome. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for listening, and hope everyone has a great week.
All right. Good night.
Thanks. Good night.